And we got into the discussion of, my personal opinion is that millions of women in America need to leave America. Period. That's my feeling. If you are within the childbearing range and age, I know little girls can't go, between the ages of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 to 18. But women between the ages of 18 and probably 46, they need to leave the country. There's nothing that the few good men in America, because we are under a very dysfunctional patriarchy, right? So in mass numbers, the men who support this type of behavior and these type of politics against women, I don't consider them good men. I don't consider them good men when women's bodies and lives are in jeopardy behind political laws and fake Christianity. And that's what I'm going to call it, fake Christianity, because none of these neo-Nazi Christians and none of these white supremacist Christians and none of these white nationalist Christians have a Christ-like mentality. They do not. They absolutely do not. But I want you to hear this in Idaho, Idaho is one of the states that have the biggest number of skinheads and neo-Nazis, okay? Let me just put that out there, right? In mass. It's one of the states that is very highly concentrated with neo-Nazis. But let's let this man tell you what took place in Idaho, in certain portions of Idaho, and then I have more to say.
In 2022, Idaho enacted a near-total abortion ban. Doctors warned that the law would make it dangerous for them to provide even routine pregnancy care because one medical emergency could lead to criminal charges. Republicans ignored them. And within 2 years, roughly a third of Idaho's OBGYNs reportedly left the state. In the city of Sandpoint.
And people are going to ask, why would they leave the state if they really care about their field of work? Because if you're a doctor, and let's just say a woman comes in and she has a tubal ligation, or let's just say the fetus isn't viable, right? In order to give her care, they would have to do DNCs on her. A DNC, which is scrape the uterine walls, to get any kind of dead fetal material and cells out of her uterus, because women, they can lose their lives behind this, and they also can be infertile in future pregnancies. So one type of pregnancy like that, where the fetus isn't viable and dies in the uterus, and a woman can't get care, these doctors don't want to be liable for not being able to give them accurate care, critical care.
The local hospital shut down its entire labor and delivery unit. That meant pregnant patients might have to travel more than an hour just to receive care. That created an opening for 7B Care Clinic, a Christian crisis pregnancy center that opposes abortion. But 7B isn't a licensed medical facility, and it didn't have actual doctors who could provide the OBGYN care the community desperately needed. So the organization recently reached an agreement with a hospital across the border in Washington. The hospital would send qualified OBGYNs to Sandpoint every couple of weeks, and the care clinic would give them money. Now, given the crisis Idaho Republicans created, that sounds a little like progress. Then the first doctor arrived in June. Before he could see any patients, though, 7B Care Clinic handed him a statement of faith and demanded that he sign it. The doctor had to pledge that he was Christian. If he was single, he had to promise sexual purity. If he was married, it had to be a heterosexual marriage between one biological man and one biological woman. In other words, no Jewish doctors, no Muslim doctors, no atheist doctors, no gay or transgender doctors, and not even any Christian doctors who reject that kind of bigotry. The doctor said, no, I'm not signing this. And the Washington hospital canceled its contract with 7B the very next day. And good for them. Because doctors should be judged by their training and expertise and ability to care for patients, not their religion, sexuality, marriage, or private life. But pregnant patients in Sandpoint are still stuck. Idaho Republicans passed an extreme abortion ban, OBGYNs fled the state, maternity wards closed, and when outside doctors tried to help, a Christian organization decided religious conformity mattered more than patient care. This is exactly what reproductive rights advocates warned would happen after Roe v. Wade was overturned. None of it had to happen. But this is what you get when conservative Christian dogma controls your health care. You're not going to believe.
Let's see when he made this video. So, yesterday, this is why I tell, because I was met with opposition when I said that women by masses, millions, and I mean millions of women need to separate from the United States and leave to other countries. They need to go to Europe. They need to go. And somebody said, "Oh, the UK has problems." The UK is not the only part of Europe, okay? That's not the only country in Europe. I said they need to flee to Europe. They need to flee to Asian countries, and then they gave me a whole synopsis on Cambodia and da 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 da, as if Cambodia is the only Asian country that a person can go to. And Africa, right? And South America. They want women to stay, risk future inalienable rights and autonomy, so that they can vote, right? Which I'm not opposed to. I said, okay, well, women can still vote out of the country, right? So give them a mail-in ballot. Let them have their mail-in ballots and let them mail in their ballots from other countries. But honestly, it's not safe for women. It's not safe for young women who are in childbearing years in this country. It is absolutely unsafe for those women. And I stand on that. They should leave. They should leave. Then I was met with, well, are you staying? I can't have any more kids. But I can tell you what, if I was in childbearing years, I would leave this fucking country right now. Do you think I want to be raped and forced to have a rapist baby? No. No, thank you. No, thank you. So it's not safe for women. None of this is safe for women. And the majority of these women in Idaho, they probably voted for this, right? Not knowing how it was going to affect them. Idaho's not the only state in the United States that's doing this. And I also heard somebody tell me that, well, maybe they just need to move out of the state. So everybody's got to move out of the state that they're in, right? So that they can have health care and they can have doctors. I'm talking about women, because men's rights, reproductivity and everything has not been touched, right? Men get the best care in hospitals. Women get the shittiest care in hospitals, and it doesn't matter her race, right? So women are supposed to give up their safety for men. And my thing is, even Biden could have restructured Roe v. Wade in a way that it was a safety net still for the different states and stuff. He could have done that. He could have absolutely done that. He didn't do that either, and he's a Democrat. So, literally feel women need to leave this country. vote en masse outside of the country with a mail-in ballot, but it's time to get the fuck out of America for women. It really is.